program is the Afia Morning Show on Afia Television, channel 254 DSTV, and of course, channel 17 on Go TV. And yesterday was World Leprosy Day. Or is it today? It was yesterday.
Yes.
It was yesterday. Okay, I'm not getting old. Yesterday was...
that's not a determining factor, Nandi. Many other things. But go ahead. Let me stop you.
I'm not the one who couldn't remember the school she attended because it has been so long. And yet she calls me old.
That's not me. I'm wondering who
we just talked about Natalie goes to school.
Yes.
I mean...
We literally... Nandi.
I mean...
Yeah.
So, I mean, and it's, will I say, not a celebration, but rather a day where more awareness is given on the topic. People are sensitized about it. And of course, it's not a mystery anymore because, I mean, growing up, the only things we knew about leprosy, we had all the rumors, all the lies. Number one, if you see a cockroach in your house, you'll catch leprosy tomorrow. That was one rumor. The second one was, I think, the second thing was based on religious beliefs. And, they should be cast out of the village. This is the Old Testament. So there's always been stigma, always been misinformation. People don't really know. In fact, somebody even said when I was younger, somebody has leprosy, looks at you, you catch leprosy.
Same thing with Apollo.
When you lack information, misinformation will fill the vacuum for you very, very well. But thankfully, people are addressing it. And fantastically, we have an ambassador from Red Aid Nigeria, Odama Michael, who is, well, will I say a living embodiment of what the truth is as against what the guesswork, misinformation, and rumors and fear. But good morning and good to have you on the AM show.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay.
So, I mean, you are a volunteer with Red Aid. You are an ambassador for Red Aid, spreading. What is the main thing that drives you to, desensitize people towards the stigma and inform people correctly about leprosy?
Thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity. Like I said earlier, my name is Michael Adama. And what makes me to come out of the shelf of leprosy is social exclusion. People who are affected by leprosy, they have many challenges they are facing, which are social stigma, social impacts. They are neglected. Most of them are abandoned by their people. And these things makes us feel as if we are no longer the same human beings like every other person, which is not true. Now, the misconception people have is that leprosy is very infectious, which is not true. Leprosy, just like other diseases, is infectious, but not highly infectious as people are looking at it. Leprosy is just like a normal bacteria that affects the nerves, the nose, the eyes. When it's not treated in time, can lead to physical disability and other things. So with this, before I was diagnosed of leprosy, I never had the knowledge of leprosy. I have heard of leprosy probably in churches. So I really don't know the medical aspect of leprosy. So I don't know what it was. Many people around me didn't know what it was. So it was a scar, a patch on my skin, and that patch signifies leprosy. But we were seeing it as a normal thing since it was not itching, it was not disturbing me in any way. So around 2007 was when I first discovered that I had something on my skin, which is called patch. So around 2017 was when I was finally diagnosed. That was 10 years after. So by then, it has already done most of the damages in my system. So leprosy is something that can be cured. It's actually curable. Okay. It's not what people think. Once you take the proper medication, you'll be cured. So when not tackled in time, it leaves disability. But if I don't tell you that I was a person affected by leprosy, you wouldn't know, because it's not only leprosy that causes disability. So that's it.
So, I mean, you mentioned that you saw the sign early, but you did not know what it was. Yes. So, how would anybody know? Because sometimes we think eczema, skin irritation is well water. What leads to how does one get in contact? And two, what is the first sign that one sees on the body?
Okay. The first sign that one sees on the body is a skin patch. The patch can be on your back, on your hand, can be anywhere. The difference with leprosy patch and other patches is that leprosy patches doesn't have sensation. You lose sensation when you have that patch. Okay. So for you to detect that this is leprosy is to use something to test if you are having sensation on that part. But if you are not having sensation, then you should go for a proper care. But if you're having sensation, be rest assured that it's not leprosy. Other signs include the enlargement of the peripheral nerves, but that will take somebody with experience to diagnose. The best one that everybody can diagnose is that patch. But most people don't, it's not everybody that presents with patches. So we still need a laboratory diagnosis to confirm other ones.
All right, so let's talk about losses. Because with everything that happens, everything that is not easy to deal with, you definitely encounter losses. What are some losses that you suffered as a result of this infectious disease?
Okay. It's my education, though I didn't lose completely. I was in school when I was finally diagnosed of leprosy. That was my final year. So I lost that year. So I had to go back around 2022 to finish my school. I was lucky since the school did not ask me to start all over again because they are aware. So apart from that, there are other things that I had plans in my life. After school, I would at least get a job, build house, and you can see now that the time that I programmed myself has been extended. So those are the losses I have faced. I even promised to get married immediately I secure a job, but as it is now, I don't even know when I'm going to get married.
What about physical losses?
Physical losses is, you can see my hands, the disability I suffer.
All right.
So, I mean, were you ever told what led to it, what caused it? Because most people, like I said, most people don't even know where it comes from and what can be done as a preventive measure.
Okay. Leprosy is caused by a bacteria, Mycobacterium leprae. That's the name of the bacteria that causes leprosy. It's in the air, it's airborne, but it's not highly infectious as people think it is. It's not as infectious as tuberculosis. So when you are in close contact with people who have leprosy and they have not diagnosed it, you don't just get it. You have to come in contact with the fluid that comes out from either their nose or their mouth. So the best way to prevent is to stay away, but you wouldn't know who have leprosy, and you cannot choose the air you breathe. So the immune system is built. It's not everybody that can get it easily like normal malaria, tuberculosis. So it affects 3 out of over 100 people in the house. So it's not easily affected.
And when it comes to your workplace, how have relations been within the workplace environment?
The relationship in my workplace is awesome. I have never met such group of persons in my life. It's as if they were selected from one family. So it's very awesome. I enjoy working with them.
And outside, do you deal with any kind of stigma? How accepting is the population?
Yeah, outside is where the stigma is. So the organization cannot give you the stigma because they are fighting against stigma. So outside is where the stigma is. People look at you and what is this? And although mine is minor, it's a minor disability. We have people with severe disability that when you see them, you'll be scared because of the way they are. Most of them are looking dirty. Some have ulcers, but I don't have anything. So the only disability I face is just looking at my hand. The discrimination is what happened to you. But many people don't usually ask. They don't care to know. Just except in a case where you have little or more problem with.
So what kind of care can people that are suffering from this disease receive in Enugu State? What is the level of concern? How is health being taken care of when it comes to dealing with leprosy? Is it effective?
Yeah, dealing with leprosy is very effective. We have different projects working on people living with, people who suffer from leprosy, those living with disabilities, and even those who have ulcers. We have different methods of taking care of them, and which they are following up.
No, I mean generally in the States, do you have other healthcare facilities that deal with this specifically? How is the entire ecosystem of leprosy awareness and healthcare provision for people that are suffering from this disease?
Okay. Generally in Enugu and even nationwide, we train facilities, people from primary healthcare and tertiary facilities. We pick them, train them as an organization, train them, and train them on how to diagnose, how to administer. So this drug is free. It's with them. When you are diagnosed of leprosy, you just start the treatment immediately. You don't have to go to any specialist hospital. So they are always available.
All right. Thank you so much. Is there anything else that you would like to tell Enugu State residents, especially concerning the stigma associated with it? We're seeing you here, a survivor. You're speaking, you're doing your normal things, you're living your life.
And like
what
you said,
should residents know about this?
If you don't tell, nobody can
Precisely.
know. And here's what baffles me. There are diseases far more infectious, that cause far more damage, and have such a lower stigma.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that is what that is what confuses me. And I think maybe it's because of culture, religion. You know, it's been mentioned by name.
Yes.
And maybe that's where the stigma comes from. But like you said, you know, what would you like, not just to people, but also to people in the health industry, because I don't think enough is being done with regards to, we have tests for everything, but we don't seem to have tests that can be preventive for this. We're always trying to eradicate one disease or the other. I've never heard anybody say we need to eradicate leprosy, which from the way I see it, with early testing, it's something that can actually be eradicated. So what would you like to say to the people and to those in the health and, of course, government?
Okay, what I have to say is the general public needs to be more educated about leprosy. Now, leprosy is not what we are thinking. It's not just like malaria. Leprosy can be cured. If early detected, you will suffer little or no disability. But when not detected in time, then you will suffer major disability. Now, for the federal government, I know they are doing well. They're trying their best to eradicate leprosy, but they need supports. So the general public needs to support them in one way or the other, financially, socially, by social inclusion of persons who have suffered from leprosy. You don't just treat them as though they have leprosy. They are being cured. They are no longer having leprosy. They only have disabilities. So you treat them the way they should be treated, like normal human beings. And facilities should be trained more. You know, just like you mentioned, the test for leprosy is not like the test for malaria, where you have kids, you can take it from a pharmacist or a chemist to test for malaria. So you have to go to the hospital. You need somebody who is experienced to check in a case where you cannot differentiate from the patches you have. So it's not like they don't have tests for that. No, they have just the same way you test for tuberculosis, you can test for leprosy, because it's the same process. So those things should be made available at all times to all facilities so that people can be checked when it's necessary.
On a final note, people will be curious about how you're managing your daily tasks with the disability. How do you cope at work, and what are other ways you found to supplement for those losses?
Well, working has, though at first I thought it's not going to be possible, but it is right now at the same as every other person. The difference is just that the time you will take to finish yours may not be the same time I will take to finish mine. And sometimes I may be faster than you. It depends on the individual. You can train yourself to be faster, you can train yourself to be slower. It depends.
All right. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much, Mr. Odama Michael, Leprosy Ambassador for Red Aid Nigeria. Thank you for the good work you and your organization are doing. And we hope that those watching have learned something, not just about leprosy, but about the people who have survived it, who are living with it, and of course, what can be done, because like I always say, most of the issues, this is never the problem itself, it's how we react to it.